autism is not a sickness. It's something that you are born with.
Hi guys! Hello!
So, you're watching something about autism on TV, or probably you're reading a book about autism, or you probably know somebody that has autism, and you realize that some of your family members possess same characteristics, or it might also be you that has those characteristics, and you're wondering, you are already an adult. Do you still want, or do you still need to be assessed or to be checked? And what is it for? What's the benefit if you still get assessed when you're already an adult? These are probably some of the questions, guys, that you're probably asking yourselves, if you still need to be checked, or if you still need your brother or your uncle, or like me, my husband, to be checked if they are really autistic or if they really have autism. So welcome to my channel, and my name is Quintas. I live here in the UK with my awesome British husband, and yes, guys, I just had my husband officially diagnosed of Autism Spectrum Disorder. So ASD is now the big umbrella that covers all forms of autism. According to the consultant that we met before, there are different types of autism. There is this Asperger, there is this autism for toddlers and whatnot. But right now, it's just made to avoid confusion, and like, I think it became easier for the consultants to do the diagnosis. They did it in one big umbrella called ASD, and we've recently been back to the consultant, and I'm gonna show you this. We went to this place called Space for Autism, and that's where we met and had a chat with a consultant of what will happen next after being diagnosed of having autism as an adult. So I'm gonna go to that topic on my next video, because autism is such a very, very, very broad topic. What I'm gonna discuss right now is, if you know anyone, or if you yourself are confused whether you have the autism, and are you scared to disclose it to anyone, or is it an embarrassing thing, or whatnot. I wanted to discuss this to you, to be able to help you, and to be able to also give an eye-opener to some family members and some people, how we can help people to deal with autism. Is it really a bad thing? Well, this is the first thing that I've learned. Autism is not a sickness. It's something that you are born with, and you are different. I used to call my husband weird, but then the consultant told me that he's not weird, he is different. So you don't call them sick, you don't call them weird, you call them different. You are not probably get him, and he is not probably able to get you. And I remember during the time of our marriage, there are instances that my husband cannot pick up facial clues or emotional clues, and luckily he is married to me. I am not easily put off, and I always think that no, he's a lovely person. I fell in love with a lovely guy, so there must be something that is going on. And this signs and signs, as I've told you in my previous video, keep going on, and then I had to sit down and say, I think there is something that is like going on with you. And just I forgot to mention the last time that my husband's nephew, my sister-in-law's son, was diagnosed when he was little that he has Asperger. So the diagnosis of autism is already available when my nephew was born. But during the time of my husband, there's no such thing as autism diagnosis like what is happening right now. There's so many departments, in the NHS that is available, and services to help you to get to a diagnosis. So, when we returned here in the UK, we finally had the chance to get through the diagnosis, and I'm gonna explain to you what do you have to do if you are going through this phase of your life that you are questioning whether you have this, or do you notice these signs as well. And if you are a family member who wanted to help your brother or your sister or your son or uncle to have them diagnosed, this is the process that is available here in the UK. I'm not sure about the other places, but you're probably gonna be able to notice the same characteristics, and you could probably check also. I'm gonna research, and I'll probably be able to attach some departments that you could go to. But definitely all the information and the links where I got this information, I will attach at the description of my video. And I hope that you stick around. If this is something important to you, if this is something that you are interested with, please stick around and stay tuned. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. And I hope that you continue to support me, Quintas family, Quintas Squad, Team Quintas. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. So, here is what happened. If you are in the UK and you wanted to be diagnosed, why do you need to have a diagnosis in the first place? You're already this is for adult autism, by the way, that I'm discussing. Why do you need to be diagnosed? What for? You're already old, or probably you're already in the university. This is very important that you get a diagnosis, because you will understand why. When my husband finally, when we had the diagnosis, and when we were in the process, when we of being diagnosed, we went through a very, very difficult process because of scheduling and whatnot. But after the diagnosis, it gives him like a huge weight on his shoulder has been taken off, because now finally he understood why he's behaving like that, why he is like that when he was little. And it opens his mind to a lot of things. And also his family is able to to reach out to him. Oh, this is why he's like this. Because even my husband's family was misunderstood him for a while. They didn't know what's going on, why he's like that, why he does not pick up emotional clues. He doesn't empathize a lot of time, and apparently autistic people or people with autism, they cannot read between the lines. To be honest, you cannot, like if, for example, between husband and wife like us, you cannot make him guess. It's not gonna work. So for me, I'm glad that I have learned to be straightforward. So what is the benefit? Number one benefit is for you to understand the person, and as a family, for you to be able to help him deal with that thing that he has, and also for you to be able to work together with what you can do for each other. And number two benefit, especially if you're in the UK, you have access to appropriate services. So I'm going to discuss to you on my next video what services are available for the people with adult autism and everybody that has autism here in the UK. But it's just to give you an insight. For example, one of the benefit or services that is available is for you to be a part of, like, the programs of the government that deals with autism. Like, there is an act here in the UK that helps autistic people or people with autism to have reasonable adjustment at workplaces. And my husband has had this card. I'm gonna show it to you next on my next video. And yes, it's good for your when you apply for work. You will not be discriminated, and also for you when you go to the uni, when you are if you are a student. So basically, that is the benefit. So don't think that people will judge you just because you are different and you are acting this way. No, you need to be diagnosed, because you need to get the information that are necessary for you to understand yourself, and the people around you need to know what you need for them to reach out to you. So that is really important. Now, what is the process of the diagnosis here in the UK? Okay, if you live in the UK, this is how you need to work on. What will happen? How do you go to the process? Number one is the reason why my husband went to the diagnosis is because I pushed through it. I wanted him to be diagnosed. I wanted to understand, because the people with autism are prone to depression, and my husband has a very, very, very bad level of depression. So I'm not sure if he's depressed only, or I'm not sure if he has the traits of Asperger, which my nephew has. So yes, number one is to go to your GP. GP stands for general practitioner or general physician. In the Philippines, we call them doctors. Go to your doctor or go to your GP here in the UK, and make sure that you book specifically to discuss your concern about this, question marks. Like, if you needed to be diagnosed, and don't just bring it up when you are seeing him for example, something about your ears, or don't just discuss it when he's seeing you about your blood pressure, because the GP may not be able to address your concern fully. So make sure that you get your appointment specifically to discuss this matter to him. Number two process is to present your case. Tell him about the observation of your family, or tell him about what you have seen on TV or what you have read, or tell him about the same characteristics that you have with the other person that has been diagnosed with autism, and discuss this to him fully. You have to present your case, and you may also bring somebody. Like, for me and my husband, I always go with him, and I help him explain, because people with autism, they are very, very there is very difficult in social communication and interaction. So you always have to have someone who could help you with in that aspect. And yes, after the the meeting your GP. Normally, not all GPs or not all doctors here are have in-depth knowledge about the process of autism. So if they don't know what they did, how they can assist, they will refer you. Basically, there is a referral. This process, by the way, is not like okay, I go here now, I see him now. It took us 2 years to finally have the diagnosis. So getting a referral to see the IAPT, where we went, it's a well-being hub that you will be seen by consultants or therapists or psychologists, and they will have a pre-assessment for you. So they will ask you with questions, and like they will have a pre-assessment. In this pre-assessment, it's like, I think, 10 questions, and there is a score system that they do. If you fall if you fall on the category that you have the traits of people with autism, then this department, the Wellbeing Hub or IAPT or IAPT, will then refer you to be seen by the consultant. Now, after after that referral, so you will have a letter saying about what happened to your meeting with that person, and then after that, she will mention on the letter that, I thank you for meeting me, and I have made a referral to this yada 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 department of NHS. And after that, this department will get back to you, and we are talking not about weeks. They will get back to you after probably 1.5 months. So I think we saw IAPT in let's say, for example, July. We saw the GP, for example, in May. We were able to get a schedule to get referred to IAP probably in July. We received the letter in September, and then we received another letter I think in November. That was last year, November of 2018, saying that we will have an interview. You need to bring someone in your family that can be asked. But then before that, you will receive a questionnaire, and that questionnaire is really, really thick, and you have to email that to them. So that questionnaire is since before you were born. It is while you were in your mommy's tummy. So those questions, you need help of your parents. So if your parents are still alive, you're lucky. But if your parents are no longer alive, that will be difficult. You need to find someone that knows you when you were little. Luckily, on our end, my mom and my dad are still alive, so they are able to help us answer the questions. And that is all through when you were a toddler, nursery, until you were able to work and get married. So because you are dealing with adult autism, apparently autism is not something that you acquired when you are bigger. That's why there is a questionnaire that involves even before you were born. So it's something that you are born with. This is an eye-opener for me. So you cannot say, oh, I realized that I'm autistic because of this and that, and I saw it when I was 30. No, it has to start even before when you were little. So that Now, once this questionnaire has been emailed, they will get back to you. We receive it, and then there will be a schedule for an interview. One consultant interviewed me, another consultant is interviewing my husband on the other room, and we don't know what is being asked of us. And then they will tell you on that end that they, we seen that there are traits of autism in you, but we need to put this information together along with the questionnaire, along with the interview and whatnot. So we are talking about, they returned, we met in January, and we got the result first week of April. So in that result, we found out that my husband has autism, but you have to go through all the information and check whether there are information that does not that you don't agree with. You have to, that result is called provisional diagnosis. So that is like a diagnosis, but you can still correct some of the information. In our case, everything is correct. So we did not have any problem, and we have to meet with the consultant again, which we did. And that part, they explain to you further what's gonna happen next. So basically, guys, you have to really just keep an open mind. I just now realized that as a person, it's not easy for that person not to understand what is going on to himself, and also for me as a spouse, probably it's not easy as well for me to deal with somebody who is going through something like this. But for us as a couple, especially right now, I'm glad that we are able to still stick by each other's sides and stand by each other's side while this question marks are still very blurred to us. So what I'm telling you right now is probably you still don't know if those question marks about that person is autism or a different thing. But I always suggest that we keep an open mind. We try to communicate to that person, like for example, in the Philippines, people are very, very scared to go to psychiatrists. Psychiatrists, they think, is only for people with mental issues like insane or crazy. No, if you're depressed, you need to see a consultant. You have to see a consultant. You don't have to deprive yourself of getting help. Professional help is something that we have to give ourselves. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. So in the case of my husband, he has autism. It doesn't make him a lesser person. It's not a sickness. It's just trying to know how to help that person. Like for example, to me, as I said, the people with autism cannot read between the lines, or you cannot make them guess what your facial expression is. That is not gonna work. We ladies probably has a husband, or you men has a wife with autism, and they cannot pick up your emotional cues or whatnot. You might talk to her and let's see a consultant, let's see a doctor. If this is something that is happening to you, I tell you, you can still work it out. You can still be happy. My husband and I, we don't fight on silly things. We could fight on a channel of TV, but that's it. And yes, guys, we are able to work everything out. And I hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that this is helpful. And please continue to support my channel, and let's continue to open our hearts to people with autism. And April is an autism awareness month. I think you know, it's not a coincidence that our diagnosis came by the month of April, but it's a great month to discuss this. And let's continue to be people with big hearts for people with autism. Let's not be judgmental. I love you guys, and I thank you. I love you, honey. I love you so much. Quintas family, thank you. Please give me a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe and share my channel. Love you. Take care.